Okay, so as I've said before, I've said in previous videos, I've made videos at specifically this time after not being successful at the club. However, this is not one of those videos. I want to stress that again, because at the end of semester one, I got to the end of it and I realized that I'd been using it as a coping mechanism. But let me explain today. So yesterday I said maybe I was going to sign up for the fight. I've signed up for the fight, okay? I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but it's done. With the club. So, interesting story. So on this channel, you'll be able to see a video about me saying my debating is amazing and I'll eventually become Prime Minister one day. In that video, I mentioned I had a note which said 10 out of 10, or very well done, okay? The guy who wrote that was schizophrenic. He's now in an institutional hospital, from what I know. Now, his closest friend let him into his apartment and apparently fucked it up badly, and that's how he got sent to the institution. Anyway, I got catching up to that guy tonight who I hadn't seen in a long time. It was great seeing him again, catching up with him about how crazy that guy was. But it eventually came, of course, at the club. I mean, why are men even there in the first place? It's for fucking women, of course. Every straight man is there for women, unless they have a girlfriend. I find that a bit weird how couples go to clubs anyway. Anyway, we got talking, and one of his friends really struggled with women. And the end conclusion of it was looks are far overstated. This is what I inferred. Looks are far overstated online. Men are especially lucky in the fact they can have control over the attraction a woman has to them through their actions, through their mannerisms, through how they convey themselves, through their language, how they imply it, how they say it, the body language they have, the tonality they have. And the hardest part, never got past it, the hardest part of at least hooking up with a girl is being able to tread the fine line. And what I mean by that is, when you speak to a girl, you want to start the conversation quite innocently. And what I mean by that is, it wants to be location related, environment related, logistic related, as in, she basically has to answer. There's very little wriggle room for her to walk away. If you just went up to a woman and said, wow, you're beautiful, which some guys do, and it does work, you're putting yourself out there. But for some women, that's too much. For quite a lot of women, that's too much. I concluded and got told by someone who is very skilled in this area, and he said the hardest part is treading the fine line between letting her know that you're interested flirtatiously, because otherwise if you're too far this way you just get friend zoned, or the conversation's just fucking dry. It's not pragmatic, it's one-dimensional. But if you go too far, you almost scare the girl. And it's really about treading that fine line. And if you can do that, you can get the winner's effect, which is a real thing. And to be honest, what's crazy about all this and how my journey, my relationship with this skill, if you will, has evolved is, this is the hardest part. Doing it for the first time, or doing it for the first few times, is the hardest part of it. If I can be able to repetitively do that on command, not with 100% win rate, of course, because every girl is different. But if I can go into the interaction, of course, not caring about the outcome, being detached from the outcome, and honing the skill of treading the fine line, I think I'll do quite well for myself. Anyway, as some people call it, I burned the night down, and what I mean by that is if I wasn't having a very good night, I just stayed anyway. I weathered the storm. But I'm glad that I did, because I met with an old friend who, well, not old, but just old comparatively in uni terms. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm a little bit drunk now, but not drunk enough. I actually went back on an e-scooter, so I'm still sober enough to like navigate my way all the way back. But if I'm unusually present in this video, it's a shallow presence because it's alcohol. If I'm unusually articulate and flowing with my language, again, that's the alcohol. But if anything, I hope it conveys my message more succinctly and completely. That's all I have to say. Also, yeah, tonight as well, I think for the first time in my life, it's crazy, I implied to a girl I was interested through sight. Now, I've done this before through verbal talk. I've gone through it loads of times on my channel, in Barcelona, in uni, through verbal means, but tonight was the first time I did it through visual means, just looking at each other from across the club. And this may sound cringe, you may not want to hear it, but this is for me, because I want to remember it tomorrow morning, because I may not remember any of this. I looked at her, she looked at me, she kept looking at me, like staring at me for a while, and I just gave her like a raised eyebrow sort of thing. I don't know if that's like a good thing to do or not, but her response was just like a little bit of a disgusted face. I don't know if that was a test, I don't know if that was her actually not liking me, who knows. But yeah, it's just the hardest part. Just gotta keep at it. Anyway, it's been a good night. Happy I went out in the end. I've got to wake up early tomorrow. But yeah, my hearing's fucked. Yeah. One good thing about the club is when you wake up the next day, your voice is very low. And I don't know why, but for some reason I love talking with a lower voice. It's just so much more, it carries. Yeah, all right. Have a good one, bro.